Good morning. At first, let me thank my colleague Sudhir for not asking us, will you come, directly putting us our names and telling us ki on 13th and 14th you will be at Varaneshwar. Right? It was 15 days back. He shooted a mail, and knowing that Hedvi Varaneshwar is a good patch, I accepted it. Right? I mean, I had no choice as well. Not only that, yesterday I requested Professor Sutode, anyway you are coming to Lonare, why don't you just stretch further and come? And the moment yesterday evening we look at this college and we stepped in, we realized what right steps Sudhir had. Thanks Sudhir for giving us this opportunity to share, to get connect with the people, right people rather, and share our views, learn from this place. Respected Dr. Vijay Bedekar, Chairman of Vidya Prasarak Mandal, Dr. Kamlakar Desai, Director of this institute, Dr. Shilpa, Principal of the institute, Dr. Davade and Karaskar, our professors from our Lonare Institute, dignitaries like Scientist Sagarkar, Naikji, Kayal sir, Koe, and faculty colleagues from this institution as well as different institutions of the Maharashtra, in particular this Konkan region. I am really very delighted to be here. It was indeed a very pleasant surprise that Vidya Prasara are doing, this Manda is doing justification to the name and truly doing a job of expanding the education. Really, we salute you, sir, for showing the courage of establishing engineering college in such disconnected area at such timings when wise people realize that there is no fun in engineering education, right? It's a madness, and indeed only the madness changes the societies. It's only the madness which helps the societies. In many speeches I have heard that the education policy of government is largely based on three parameters: inclusion, access, and excellence. Right? This is no more. I mean, what else can be a demonstration of those policies? What country has envisaged is being implemented. This is a classical example. This institution is a classical example of inclusion and access. Providing engineering education to a place. Morning we searched for a medical shop and we could not get him. We had to go to Hedvi we were at Varaneshwar and we had to travel to Hedvi just to get some tablet. I mean, when situation is such challenging, but at that place providing a professional education is access, and this workshop is a attempt to bring in the excellence. I mean, all three principles on which our philosophy of higher education, in particular professional education, is dependent. Country is dreaming in its 12th, since its 11th plan, is happening here. It's totally, it's a great contribution to the society and contribution to the country. As Sudhir has said, we are at the crossroads. Indeed, please, all teachers, please listen this word carefully. We are at a crossroads. Never before in history such challenge has come to the education. In particular, technical education, professional education. Very dramatically education word is changing. It hasn't changed much in 50s, it hasn't changed much in 60s, not 70s, even not in late 90s, it has changed in this century. That change has come due to the technology explosion. I am sure you are aware of MOOCs and all. Entire culture of higher education may change, and that MOOCs or open courses, today a learner has no limits. To get a test of coaching at IIT, you need not be at IIT Powai. At sitting at Varanasi, you can have that test through open line courses. Sitting at some interior part or Gadchorili, you can look at what Stanford is teaching, what Princeton is teaching. Never it has happened. Education access was very limited. Only those 2,000 God-gifted kids were given that opportunity to be labeled as IITians. But now the technology throws it open to all learners. We teachers need to cautiously look at what change is happening, what change has happened. Thanks to the IIT system, 320 courses are made available in the video form. As a first year student, I have 2-3 choices, whether I should take a mechanics course of Kharagpur or mechanics course of IISc or mechanics course of Kanpur IIT. Not only that, it is as per my will. I can spend a Sunday, look at 5-6 hours course content, or I can resort 20-30 minutes every day and learn the same content in 2 months. Anytime, anywhere. When I am traveling to some place, I can still be connected with the class. Indeed, when we yesterday traveled, we had a net connectivity and we were working on some emails and all. But a learner can look at a course where you are traveling in a trains or where. So anytime, anywhere, learning from the best of the best. Sitting in Varanasi, your computer student can take Harvard CS50 course, which 75,000 students in the world have registered. If we don't look at that, tomorrow our students will not be looked at. If we don't realize this change happening, because the people who are looking at these changes are wisely changing themselves, making themselves adaptable to this. And what great change it demands. Now classrooms and colleges are no more the dispenser of information. Why I used to go to college, or Sudhir used to go to the college? Predominantly some information was available. My teacher had some notes. I used to go because books were costly, foreign author books. And teacher had one or two copies, teacher had it, and teacher was the main source of information. The learner had no choice than to go to a classroom. Today's student and tomorrow's student will be born in 21st century. Wait for 1 year or 2 years. The learner which is sitting in front of you is born in 21st century. He is not analog-minded kid. He is digitally programmed kid. As Sudhir said, he cannot concentrate 60 minutes. He has a multi-processing ability. Suddenly he can look at WhatsApp, next he can do something, and again he can solve some 1 or 2 sums of mathematics. I remember in the school my father told me, if you want to chant the Sanskrit stotras, you have to get up at 4:30, sit in Padmasana and chant the Sanskrit stotra. Deva or verbs, Mala, Deva or whatever, right? These kids are different because their exposures are different. We as a teaching faculty, we as institutions need to carefully look at this and break the old model as Sudhir pointed out, and look at the characteristics of present learners so as to make them employable or make them so as to convert them to a workforce of tomorrow's, right? A very big challenge. Because we are old, we are taught we are taught yesterday. Learner is in present, but we have mandate to create a workforce for a future. So it's a big job to be done in such a changing environment, and I don't know what 2025 or 30 will bring to us. Frankly, in 2000 I won't imagine that 15 years down the line I will have that gadget like smartphone and I will do something. 15 years back I won't imagine sitting in IIT Bombay. I don't know what will happen in 2030. And how long our traditional education models will continue, right? That's why my urge to all faculty community here that please look at these changes, be mentors. Now if student has information bombarding at him in all ways, our role must change from information dispenser to a mentor. How this mentorship will come? Why student will come to the institutions tomorrow to get mentorship, to get practical exposure? And there is a gap, because our institutions are mostly based theoretical, and labs have shrink. Expenditure, investment in a laboratory is negligible compared to the total investment in the institution. Now learner will come to you only for practical exposure, and unfortunately our investment in practical is limited, and this challenge can be partially at least addressed by what is known as virtual laboratories, if not totally. Real life exposure is the exposure. If I want to make a dish, I have to go in a kitchen and then only I really learn. But looking a video film on how a dish is prepared also gives me reasonable exposure. It's always better than not to have anything, right? And therefore, we will have to use the technologies, we will have to collaborate. This is a classical, this technology will help us to collaborate. COEP can collaborate with Bhubaneswar, can collaborate with Philologics, can collaborate with some college in Nagpur, or why limit Maharashtra? It can collaborate with any institute, because technology made it possible. Some laboratory developed at COEP can be used by anyone from anywhere. Ideal platform. These open-line courses, isn't it a big collaboration? MIT professor is teaching, and all learners in the world of all gender, both gender and all age groups are learning together. You have a kid of 15 years as well as you have a person of 55 years taking the same course. Bandwidth of the learners, cross societies, African, Asian, Australian, all world. It's a classical example of collaboration, and I feel that time has come. That we as institutions come out of the shell and open our doors for collaborations. Why the Lonare should look at only Lonare students? It's a public institution. Why COEP should look at only COEP students? Institutions should need to change their mindset, collaborate with each other. Let me cite one or two examples. We say that MIT is a great institution of the world. Yale is a great institution of word. Harvard is a great institution of word. They are in first 5 or 10 institutions. They are very big institutions. We can't just, where our imagination stops, their journey begins. To quote the Karpos fund of Yale, the Karpos means money, reserved money, is $16 billion. I have calculated sitting here, it is matching our RUSA's budget for this big country for 10 years. RUSA, we are envisaging the RUSA, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shikshan Abhiyan, for such a big country having 45,000 colleges, 2 crore students, and our budgetary provision for that is 1 lakh crore. That one university has a corpus of 1,07,000 crore. MIT is like this. Stanford has a corpus of $32 billion, double than Yale. But they are collaborating. If such great people, such big giants, such elephants collaborate, needless to say that we weak people should collaborate very strongly because we have limited resources. Why a laboratory which has come with a public investment at COEP of say our process lab, we have put 50 million rupees in that laboratory, 5 crore. Why it should be available only to limited students? It has come through, and we have, fortunately, our generation has that mindset. So there has no hesitation in offering that laboratory to a COEP student or to a Vernaker student. COEP is open. If you as a faculty wish to pursue your faculty research or research leading to your PhDs, COEP is open. On behalf of my institution, I throw open invitation to you. No way you will be treated different than COEP faculty. In case of use of laboratories, in case of use of library, our e-resources, because we understand that we are a public institution, right? And people like you who are doing a great job for the society development will be dearer to us. So from that, we request you to feel free to visit our visitors. Come us any time which is suitable to you, comfortable to you. We shall and use our facility, whatever we have. It's all yours, right? For a university affiliated institution, more collaboration in student form is not possible because you have your timetables and your academic calendar. We have our own academic calendar. So a great collaboration may not be possible at student level. But faculty collaboration is possible. I mean, he started morning 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. he was here. Similarly, your faculty can travel. He can be at COEP on weekends. Enjoy the laboratories, right? And in turn, because we very strongly believe that faculty empowerment is a student empowerment. COEP has a slogan, faculty first, student always, right? So we believe that we need to look at faculty first, and empowering them is a long-term empowerment of the students. Why only collaborate with COEP? I mean, the time has come that institutions in the region collaborate each other. Why we have limited investment in different domains? One institution can be stronger in mechanical engineering, and next door institution 25 kilometers away can be stronger in another technology, so that students of both the institutions are benefiting. Time has come that even our AICT and all should permit such things, that one institution is known, its laboratories are strong for one domain, whereas other institutions, the laboratories are strong for other domain. Students just traveling 25, 30, 50 kilometers is not big deal. And both are benefited, right? This, this technology is doing a wonderful job, mind-boggling. Please take a feel of what is happening. You are affiliated institution. Most of you are coming from affiliated institutions where normally a rice plate is served as an academic model to you. You have nothing, you can't have any variation. This course, this, falana, just like a rice plate. We typically call it as a rice plate model, right? But even if I take a rice plate, same dal, I can have some tadka on it, right? Or I can make little effort to make it more tasty. This open learning platform gives you that opportunity. You may have prescribed Mumbai syllabus, say dal, you may put a tadka through this virtual lab or through open line courses and make the dish tasty to a learner. Enormous possibility. There is enormous possibility. I will say that, this knowledge and this open learning has gone to such a level. It's open and it's to our abilities how much we can gain ourselves. I urge you to be sensitive to these changes and give justice to our profession. I again thank this college for giving us an opportunity. I strongly believe that every visit is a learning opportunity. Here also I could learn from yesterday some things which there is a learning here at this place as well. So thank you for giving us this learning opportunity, and to all participants, I wish that this 2 days workshop be fruitful to you. Thank you.